Okay, let's face it. We are in a recession, things are expensive, inflation is high, and everyone needs a little bit of extra cash. You've put a ton of work into your garden or your houseplants, and now you're looking for a little bit of return that isn't just necessarily lessening that grocery bill. So this is why you will want to choose from one of the 9 large categories I have to start a side hustle. Now, I'm going to give you the ideas, you're going to need the tools, and that's why you should check out today's sponsor, which is Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning platform where you can learn the skills to get a second income, whether that means having a side hustle like what we're talking about here today, or turning it into a full-time business. Skillshare can help you develop those skills. Basically, it's a bunch of different courses. You have a teacher. You can pick and choose which ones you would like to go with. And then there is a class project at the end. The first 1,000 people to click the link down below will actually get 1 month free membership to the Skillshare resources. Some really great courses you may want to consider if you want to use this to actually build a garden business would be the class called Start a Business and Refine Your Branding. Everyone needs good branding to be able to sell and market their garden products, so that would be a great course to look at. And then one of my favorites is Marketing Your Brand or Business with Video, which I think is important if you are doing stuff online, because I truly believe video is the future. So I want you to go check out Skillshare by clicking that link down below. And like I said, there is no goal too large. You can get that secondary income from a side hustle, and it could ultimately change your life, especially in today's economic world. So Skillshare, I want to thank you for sponsoring this video, and let's get back to it. Okay, so the first one is oddly popular, and it's becoming more and more popular as time goes on, and that is making your own compost, vermicast, mulches, potting soils, you name it, and selling them online. Now, you're going to have to find the marketing spin on this that makes your product most valuable, whether it be eco-friendly, locally sourced, micro-dense, you name it. There's so many possibilities out there because it is a zero cost to anyone who already has a worm compost, a compost setup, anything of that nature. The only real input would be your packaging. If you're going for the mulch route, you could go with straws, hays, leaves. Anything of that nature would work just fine. You're gonna again have to find a way to market it, but I would really capitalize on the fact that it is local and therefore its carbon footprint is lower based on that. Okay, the next one is probably easiest, and it's actually selling seeds and seedlings. So we all overplant our gardens. It's just a known fact we do, and that is because we want to ensure everything germinates, or that we end up with the number of plants we need, because as experienced gardeners, we know not everything germinates, and sometimes it may only be 1 out of 3 seeds. But say one year you ended up with a bumper crop where a ton of seedlings did finally germinate. Many gardeners I know that do this on a larger scale will have a seedling sale. Now, in some cases, if you don't have enough seedlings to sell, you may want to think about joining up with another gardener, putting your supplies together to attract a larger crowd. That is one option. The second option is actually selling seeds. Now, this is huge because if you can really cultivate a good seed supply through selecting plants that are the most viable for your zone, meaning if you were to select a tomato, and I can do a video on this, for a cold climate, if you were to select a tomato, you'd want to select a tomato that currently is already on the plant early in the season. Actually put a some sort of marker on it, and then ensure you save seeds from that in the event that that tomato is a good performer in both texture, taste, etc. and so forth. That seed that comes out of that plant has the genetics to be able to withstand the climate that we are currently in, or your local climate. This is a way you can actually market these seeds as something that is locally grown, locally sourced, and therefore already acclimatized to our region. Now, this will help you not only build up like a survival seed stock that can pretty much take on anything in your zone, but it will also help you supply your surrounding community with seeds that are not imported from who knows where, bred from who knows where, and already has some characteristics that are best suited to our environment. Okay, one of my besties over at Arcopia, not Dean. Dean's not my bestie. His wife Jessica, though, she definitely is. I've been through the ringer lately in life for a number of different personal reasons, and Jessica brought me over some cut flowers. Jessica at Arcopia does sell cut flowers, and she grows these from seeds, perennials, you name it. Her ability to arrange bouquets is beautiful, and it's a side hustle that makes money. So if you love flowers and you like the idea of them continually blooming through deadheading and cutting, then a cut flower farm is meant for you. Now, of course, Jessica and Dean are in an environment where they're on an acreage and they have the greenhouse and stuff, so their situation's a little bit different. However, if we were to look at someone more local, like Shifting Roots, Kirsten, she actually started in a very small front backyard setup. I went there once, and she used containers, raised beds, in-ground, even her neighbors' gardens to be able to start her cut flower farm. This is a great way to get started, and that is now her full-time job. So, cut flower farming, definitely some money there. Locally sourced, sustainable flowers is the way I would market it. But again, you're gonna have to put some artistic touch in there to really set yourself above all the rest. Okay, the next one is for those of you that get the bumper crop. I know many of you are actually trying to grow vegetables for your winter supply and fresh eats to lower that grocery bill, or just to get rid of the chemicals in your diet. But the truth is, sometimes we end up with bumper crops. For me last year, beets, carrots, and squash were a bumper crop season. Potatoes was another bumper crop season for me, and even tomatoes. Last year, actually looking back, last year was pretty darn good. Now, you can choose to save all that food, and if you have the means to preserve that long term, then of course build up your food stocks. But in the event you don't have room to store all this, don't let it go to waste. Actually sell that produce. You don't have to do anything fancy with it. You just simply need to put it online that you have fresh garden produce, an excessive amount of it, and sell it. People will pay a premium for organic, locally sourced produce versus something from a grocery store. So definitely something to look at there. Now, in the event you have a little bit extra time on your hands and you want to kick up that margin on the sell, actually prepare the food. This could involve canning, it could involve freezing, it can involve just packaging, whatever the case is. Obviously, you're going to need to follow food safe guidelines, etc. and so forth, but I see pop-up shops all over the place in Saskatoon, farmers markets, on roadsides, in front of people's homes, selling canned goods, frozen goods. And the reason for this is because people don't know how to do it on their own. So if you know how to pickle, water bath can, and freeze, take that and market it. People go crazy for it. My father-in-law is one of them. I think he spent like $10 on a jar of homemade pickles out in Blaine Lake. When he told me the price on that, given they were good pickles, I was absolutely shocked that he paid that, but he said he's willing to pay any price for homemade pickles. So take advantage of that. People love it. Go sell it, go market it. This year I've decided to get really into teas. So I have chamomiles, holy basil, raspberries, you name it, all for the purpose of teas. Now this is for my own personal stock, but if you wanted to do something super niche that I honestly don't see much of, it would be a tea packet. All you're gonna need is either a way to dry these with ambient air, put them inside of a dehydrator, maybe a freeze dryer in some cases, and then package it up nice and sell it as organic, locally grown, or harvested tea. So simple. People go crazy for this stuff. In particular, if you put, for example, for chamomile, you put the entire flower in, they'll go nuts for this stuff. So homegrown tea, absolutely a great choice. And that one you can most definitely do in containers in like an apartment setting. So this next one actually has a really high turnaround, and that is microgreens. Sprouts is a different story. There's a lot of legalities behind growing sprouts. However, microgreens are something that you can choose to grow with little to no consequences. So that'd be something to look into. I'm not going to get into too much details on that one because there's actually entire YouTube channels dedicated to that business archetype and developing it. So I'm actually going to point you in that direction of the YouTubes, but it is an idea you can go with. Okay, last one, and I've seen this off and on with a few people. Superior Gardener over on Instagram does this, and that is the use of herbal flowers or just herbs in general to make things like balms and lotions and candles and that sort of thing, health products if you will. These are super hot for like Christmas ideas, that sort of thing. So if you were to harvest throughout the entire year, preserve them, and then get your stock ready for the Christmas run, you will likely, very likely sell out of this stuff. There's not a lot of laws behind it because they're not necessarily regulated in any way, and it's just candles and soaps. I mean, it's not that expensive. You make these look very cool very easily, and it's a great business idea with low cost, high margin. So way to make a little bit of extra cash off your garden. I thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, thumbs up, subscribe, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.